Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the West Ham Weekly. A day late. Sorry about that. You know what I'm like. I'm never on time for anything. But I hope you all had a good weekend, and I hope you all enjoyed the game against Wolves at the weekend. Good performance. I'll be talking a little bit about that later on in the show, and I'll be talking about the draw, the Europa League draw, and Seville. I mean, that's going to be an exciting game as well. So really looking forward to that, and I'll be talking a little bit about Seville's history as well. There's other things, the usual stuff: match review, the review of the academy and the women's team. Some player watch. There's a lot of stuff going on with a number of different players at the moment. So lots to talk about. But before I do any of that, of course, we've got to talk about the most poignant thing at the moment, and that's, hang on. I just want to make sure that you can all hear me because you know what I'm always like. So let's just go into the chat. And can you all hear me? I hope you can. It looks like you can because you're all saying good evening. So that's good. Let's go into the chat and see and say hello to everyone. Toby, how are you, mate? 45 minutes. Well, actually, I'm a day late, mate. And I hope you're well, Toby. Thanks for joining, mate. Hamret, I've missed this. Well, I'm here. I'm here. I'm only a day late. Don't worry about that. Here we go. Good evening to you, Mice Collective. Here, hello. We all love Zuma. Especially the way he played at the weekend. Howard, how are you, mate? I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Good evening, Reese. How are you? I hope you're well. Mark, hello, mate. Evening, all. Have you all been very well, especially with the victory at the weekend? Good evening, Sean. Just run over from the preview show, made it in time. Has that finished? I'm guessing it's finished. So I just, because I saw that they were still on at 2:15, so I decided to wait until 10. So I'm assuming they've finished. Oh well. They haven't. They haven't. Hammerhead, good evening to you. One love after the next. Jesus, lads, putting in the work. Love it. One love after the next. Jesus, lads, putting in the work. Love it. Big up to all of you. Matt, Luke, Anton, blah, 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 Big Cell, obviously. Come on, legend. Good evening to you. Luca, good evening to you. How are you, mate? Thank you for joining. Hello, Adam. How are you? Good evening, Daniela. I hope you're well. Kimbo, hello, mate. Andy, good evening to you as well. I hope you're well. Chris, good evening, Stel. Good evening to you, mate. Your date with Destiny came early for Seville. I know. I know. Well, the good thing is that means I go twice. I go next week, which I'm going, and then I'm going to go at the end of May or the middle of May when we get to the final. And as David Moyes said, it will give us an opportunity to get accustomed to the stadium, make it our second home in readiness for the final. Black Country, how are you? 25 hours late. Sorry, still I'm 25. Don't worry, I'm very late as well. Yes, Reese, you're not going to get me on that. Good evening, Jonathan. I hope you're well. Good evening, Nigel. How are you? No what? I'm guessing no, I'm not on mute, which is good because, I do these sorts of things. Good evening, Paul. How are you? Thank you for joining, mate. My sound is good. That's good to know. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Good evening, Robert. How are you? Victor, hello, mate. I hope you're well. Good evening to you, Brad. As much as Sevilla was literally the only team I didn't want to play, think that's probably it goes for all of us. I feel like we will play our best football against them, against the best team, so it could play out well for us. I agree. I agree. If we beat them, that's got to make us favourites for the competition, hasn't it? James, good day, still. Spurs are hanging on. I hope they get. I hope Borough smash them. I really do. Good evening, Jazza. How are you? Daniel Kretinsky has a stake in Aeroflot. Well, interesting. I was reading about him and I didn't notice that. He's got his finger in an awful lot of pies, but I didn't know about Aeroflots. Good evening. I'm guessing it's Nick or John or I've forgotten Gary. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining, chaps. Nigel, more people saying hello than watching. I know, but it's like a community here, isn't it? That's why everybody says hello. Good evening, Stuart. I hope you're well. Hammerhead 0-0 after the first half of extra time with Spurs and Borough. I hope Borough beat them. I really do. Zoom, good evening to you. Need to buy players? Well, unfortunately, we can't do that until the summer transfer window, which is why I'm not going to talk about any transfers until much, later in the year. Any idea where Yarmolenko is, Adam? Well, I'm going to speak a little bit about him in a minute. Brad, predictions for tomorrow. I'm going to go for 1-1 extra time, 4-3 West Ham penalties. Glad I'm staying over there. Otherwise, I would never have gotten home. Good evening, Julie. How are you? One eye on Spurs, one eye on you. Come on, Borough. Who's the most good looking, Julie? Claret and booze. Let's see how long we keep still on low. I know, and you've already done me 10 minutes as it is. So I'll tell you what, let's get on with the show. And like I said, the first thing we've really got to talk about is the current situation, isn't it? You know, things are not going so well in Ukraine. Well, not going so well. That's a fucking understatement, isn't it? Um, the whole thing with the Ukraine situation is terrible. And I think it was fantastic what the fans and the players did for Andrei Yarmolenko on the game on Sunday. I think it was the right thing to do to sort of, show him that we're together, show him that we're united, we're behind him. You know, it's a terrible thing, and it's also good to see that the footballing world has also got their arse in motion and done something as well. You know, the Russian team being suspended from all international games, all their national teams. So that means Spartak Moscow is not going to be playing in the next round of the Europa League, which is the right thing to do. The Gazprom sponsorship is being looked at, and I think it's been cancelled or it's about to be cancelled. Again, the right thing to do. Absolutely correct that the Champions League final has been moved from Russia would have been nice for it to come to the London Stadium, but hey, it's going to Paris, so that's also a good thing as well. So all the things, everything is in terms of what football. I know other sports organisations are doing similar stuff, but when it comes to football, I think we're doing absolutely the right thing. We've got to cut this off and sever the ties with all this dirty money that we've known for years has been going on in football. So I think in that respect, it's a good thing. And I'm pleased that that's happening. Now, look, there's also speculation. I didn't know about the whole Aeroflot thing because I was doing a bit of looking into Daniel Kretinsky and all his stakes in various businesses that he has. And, we know about his stake in West Ham, in Sparta Prague, and in Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's likes going shopping there rather than Waitrose, stake in the Royal Mail, etc. But his biggest stake of all is in a company called EPH, which is an energy company. Now, EPH is an interesting one because I was reading up, could it be that because of what's going on and all the sanctions, etc., could Kretinsky be hit in the pocket? Will he suffer from this? And interestingly, probably not. Because the company that he owns this 94% of this EPH. It's the biggest energy group in Europe. Now, the economists or whatever that might be watching might be telling me something completely different. I don't know. So correct me if I'm wrong. EPH is the biggest energy company in Central Europe. He employs 25,000 people. They distribute and supply electricity as well as gas storage and transmission. Now, what EPH does is they buy old coal plants and mines from struggling companies, struggling players, and they bet on increasing electricity prices. Well, the electricity prices, the energy prices are going through the roof. So I think there's a fair chance that Mr. Kretinsky is probably going to make a bit of dosh out of this, ironically. But anyway, what other things? Other people may not be so lucky. We all know that, the red herring that Abramovich has offered, putting Chelsea under the stewardship of some charitable trust. And I think something may happen with that. Something it will be looked into. But on a serious note, I don't know if it's true, but I read something earlier today that he's ill all of a sudden. Now, I don't know if there's anything sinister in that or whatever. But I wonder if Chelsea is going to suffer from Abramovich's involvement. Look, let's go back to Yarmolenko because, I'm glad we showed unity. I'm glad we got behind him, and that shows the true West Ham family. When we talk about West Ham family, it doesn't matter what you think of him as a footballer. He's not been doing it. We know all that, etc., etc. You've got to put that to one side for the moment, and you've got to feel for him. And I certainly do. What's going on in his homeland at the moment, it must take its toll on every Ukrainian around the world. Yeah, I remember. I mean, I was 12 when it happened, but I remember in 1974 when I watching my parents watching the news when Cyprus got invaded, and you know how worried they were and upset they were about their friends and family back home, etc. And seeing the the faces of fear and helplessness, etc. And what they were going through at the time. So I feel for him. I feel for Yarmolenko. It's time to get behind him, and it's time to understand exactly what he's going through. Now, David Moyes, he gave him the weekend off, and he said he's back training now, but he's going to leave it up to the player to decide whether he feels in his right mind, whether he can play any part of the game against Southampton in the FA Cup on Wednesday night. I think we all wish him well. I hope you all do as well. Now, I talked about Spartak Moscow. Now, Spartak Moscow have been kicked out of the Europa League. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that the team that they were going to face, Leipzig, are going to get a bye, are going to just get through to the next round, which I think would be a little bit unfair? Could it be that maybe Napoli, who finished second in Spartak Moscow's Europa League status, could it be, even though they got knocked out by Barcelona, might they get an opportunity to come back into the competition and take Spartak Moscow's place? I don't think it's been decided yet, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. But all in all, we just wish them all well, don't we? The Ukrainians, and hope they get through this bad time. Right. Let's go to the chat before I go to the next part of my or the first part or the second part of my show. So where did I get to? Yeah, we said they're hanging in there. I hope they're losing, but you tell me if they're not. Stuart, good evening to you. More people saying, yeah, I know. Yeah, very true. Adam, good evening, mate. Anyway, hopefully I've just answered that, mate. Well, hopefully I have. Vinay, good evening to you, mate. I hope you're well. Yarmo could play against Southampton, absolutely. And if he does, if he does, and put in a performance, and we're going to get right behind him. And I hope that gives him the spur he needs to get through these dark times. Mice Collective, we love Lanzini, proves that this side does not matter. And obviously we love Zuma. Cats are out. Dear. Mike, who's going to see you there? Adam, the boxer Lomachenko went back to Ukraine to join the resistance. He absolutely did. Absolute respect to anyone that goes. Good evening to you, Clive. I hope you're well. Who else have we got? Dabs, hello, mate. Russia have about 4-mile line of tanks going into Kiev. It's sad. It's extremely sad. Reese, next week, are you planning for Monday or Tuesday? I'm probably going to be coming back from London late. Don't know yet. I might give you a bit of news of that later on. Adam, good evening to you. Not going well in Ukraine, but they're fighting well for their country. They're hard. They're hard bastards. Howard, let's show still some love. Thank you very much. I always forget to ask you to hit the thumbs up, etc. So please do that. Mike Theory, I'm keeping an eye out on Hammers United for the pubs everyone going to be at. Hopefully see you there, mate. Don't know what one we're going to yet, but do message us on our West Ham Network email, and I'll see if we can let you know where I'm going to be. Lauren, good evening to you. Can't believe, well, I actually wasn't, Lauren. This is it. Not only am I a day late, because normally I would do this show on a Monday night, but also I was 15 minutes late on top of the time I was meant to go on. Borough scored. Oh, come on. You know it makes sense. 1-0 Borough. Oh, it's lovely to get on over on them, isn't it? Oh, fucking it just is. Everyone, yeah, everyone's happy. All of a sudden, everyone's cock a hoop. Steve, usually Yates upstairs on Wetherspoons. I definitely won't be going to Yates's because it gets absolutely effing rammed in there. And quite frankly, I don't want to be covered in beer. I'd rather drink it rather than be covered in it, in all honesty. But have fun if you go in there, Steve. Reese, let's all laugh. Yeah, let's not laugh at them just yet, because we've got a tough game to play tomorrow night. Trini, Tottenham. Here we go. See, you're going to get me into it. I'm going to, join in. Jonathan, Chelsea with 100% sugar daddy won't be funding that anymore, so they can only what the club can make. Well, apparently they are currently self-sufficient. How true that is, I don't know, but it'd be interesting to see what happens to them. And it'd also be interesting to see how many Chelsea players turn around and say, I don't want to be part of this. It's born on dirty money. Well, I guess Newcastle's the same, and many other clubs are too. But it's born on dirty money, etc. So I wonder how many Chelsea players might turn around and say, "I don't want to play for Chelsea anymore." Will they? Will they do it? Who knows? Brad, I'm pretty sure they would get a bye for the next round. It's unfair to give Napoli a second chance. It is unfair, but I think it's also unfair that Leipzig goes through without playing anyone as well. So it is a bit of a what should you do in this situation? It'd be interesting to see what UEFA do. Howard, my father was a Cypriot refugee. There you go. You know all about it, mate. Well, your father certainly does. Dab, Stel, do you have flash scores? So updates on any foot? I don't, and I know you can set it up, but I'm shit at all this. So sorry, mate. I'm going to rely on you lot to tell me what the score is. Lauren, Chelsea fair weather supporters will all be wearing Newcastle kits come Christmas. I like that. Good evening, Tyler. Yes, we know, mate. They are losing. Vinay, I pissed off with my job. Consider joining Foreign Legion in Ukraine, but won't do it. Wow, mate, that's some big consideration. David Reed, good evening to you. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining, mate. Steve, I'm Yarmo's biggest critic, but I'm right behind him on this. Heart goes out to him and his family. Absolutely fantastic and exactly the right thing to be. Good evening, Chris. Was reading Sevilla FC reading Sevilla FC website. Their sporting director has said he believes Sevilla have pulled the toughest straw. I read that as well. Yeah, they think we're going to be a tough one. You know what? It's going to be a fucking great game. It really is. I put my flights out there. Just need to get through the game now. My mic distorts and it's a bit crackly. I'm sorry about that. I have got a new kit, but I just never have time to set it up. Good evening, John. How are you? It took Russia invading Ukraine to get Zoomer off the front page. Do you know what? The irony, the absolute irony. Who else have we got? Good evening, Lincoln Harper. How are you? Yeah, all gone Spursy. Cyber, how are you, mate? Spurs trying it. Hey, you're happy, are you? Good evening, Marshall. Big up West Ham family. Do you reckon Liverpool can win the quadruple? Liverpool fan in the building. Well, we always welcome everybody here. It doesn't matter what team you support. So welcome and thank you for joining us. Do I think that they can win the quadruple? No, I do not think they can because West Ham are going to win the FA Cup. So there you go. Mark, what happened there? Leave the. What I don't know what happened. I hope I'm back and someone is pushing buttons. Are they? Oh, I don't know what's going on because I haven't touched anything. You know, I'm just like, minding my own business, talking to you lot. Stell's Moggies. No. Can you hear me okay? Because I actually really didn't touch anything at all. So I hope it all sounds okay. Feel wary of Antonio. I think we are as well, aren't we? We don't know what Antonio's going to turn up. But hey, going to talk about the game against Wolves in a minute, and I'm going to big him up. Harley, good evening to you. Player named Jesus Corona for Seville. What do you ask the announce to call you when you score? Jesus Corona. It's Corona time. I don't know. Jesus scored. Dabs, Russian football teams have been suspended from all competitions. Absolutely, exactly right. 5 minutes left. Come on, Borough. Jonathan. Steve, hope to see you tomorrow, Stel. We're meeting up. Oh, are you meeting Mr. Lefranc, are you? Oh, the famous curry eater. Say hello to him for me, and we will definitely find a way to meet up. We're staying overnight anyway, so definitely. I still can't get my head around other teams and fans thinking we're the ones to worry about. I can. Let them worry about us. I think it's fantastic. Thank you, Dabs. My audio is fine. I'm just being wound up by everybody. Toby, Stel, the chat went to members only for a minute. Did it? Oh, I didn't know that either. So someone's mucking around with the background. Whoever it is, just don't touch the fucking background. Leave it as it is. Mark, Stel, can you hear someone turn the chat off? No, I didn't know that. So my apologies if someone turned the chat off. I don't know what happened there. Reece, Stel, thank you very much. So Russell, I was hoping we would draw Spartan. Who's Spartan? No, there's a good chance. Oh, Spartak. Okay, mate. Thank you. Right, let's move on to the first part of the show when I can find the video. So all last week, everyone was talking about changes. We've been working on changes. The players were talking about, oh, we've been working on changes in training, etc., etc. And we were all speculating changes. What are the changes going to be? Change of team, change of players, change of formation, etc., etc. Then I was trying to analyze it before the game, and I was thinking, well, hang on a minute. If we're going to change formation and go like a wing back sort of system, then all the players that can play wing back are injured. Masuaku, Fredericks, even the young Ashby, etc. And I was sort of racking my brain and thinking, well, who, what's it going to be? And I convinced myself that one or two players were going to get dropped. I just absolutely did convince myself that players were going to get dropped and we might see something fresh, maybe one of the youngsters coming in or, speculating like that. And then we saw the lineup. And I went, oh, okay, more of the same. We had a couple of changes. Finally, Ben Johnson got a start. Don't know why he hadn't got a start for quite some time, but he got a start. And Lanzini, the usual sort of change. Lanzini came in for Ben Rama. And then probably the next game, Ben Rama will be in for Lanzini, and there'll be this constant switch between the two. And then finally, when the team actually lined up, we saw the change. We went with I don't know, a fluid. I'm going to call it a fluid 3-4-3 because Souček was a lot further forward. Pablo Fornals, for me, credit to him, wing back. He went wing back, and that worked as well. So, like I said, Souček and Antonio was kind of out wide left. So there were changes. There were changes to the formation. Same players, but they were just asked to play different ways. And it worked, didn't it? There's nothing that you can say about the performance at the weekend that would have pissed you off. I think the only thing, if I'm going to be really, really, really picky, the only thing for me would be I would have liked to have seen maybe Antonio look dead on his feet. And look, he had a great game. He had a best game since November. He looked like he was full of it. Kicking just what Antonio does, gets the ball on the byline, boots it about 40 yards in front of him, and it's a fucking race between him and the defender. And if the defender is almost going to get it, he just gives him a little nudge and sort of, with that fucking muscle, and he gets the player out of the way. And he was doing that, and it looked like he was relishing in it. It was fantastic. But on 80 minutes, he was absolutely wiped out because all of a sudden the passing and the movement. I mean, when he went to kick the ball, it probably was trickling a few yards in front of him. But that's not his fault. That's what Moy should have gone. You know what? It's on 80 minutes. You've done the business for me. I'm going to take you off and put some fresh legs on. So if there's any slight criticism, it's on Moyes. On Moyes not making the changes, sooner than he should have done. But you know what? The team played absolutely fantastic. The formation worked. Souček. Are you watching, Nick? Souček was further up front while Declan was sitting back. Imagine that. What a simple little idea. I wonder why we didn't do that earlier this season. But Souček was further forward. He was almost playing like a false number 9. We kept talking about we might as well play the false number 9. Just because you got number 9 in your back doesn't mean you're a number 9. Might as well put I think even Nick from Claret and Booze and other people said, well, might as well put Souček up there. We did. He scored. Antonio made the goal. The two players that have been getting criticised for most of the last sort of 3-4 months actually, got together and one created and one scored. Absolutely fantastic. It was just a brilliant game. And it was really interesting because that night got home after having a few too many rums and watching Match of the Day, and it's really weird how the pundits were criticising West Ham. They were going, oh, the only Premier League game, and it was one of those games where it wasn't that exciting. Well, I don't know what they were watching, but I thought it was quite exciting. I thought we played really, really well. I thought we stifled Wolves. I think we played our own game. We played our passing game, and I think we did really well. I think it was quite a good game, and it was a bit nervy because Wolves had, they weren't that dangerous, but they had one or two chances to maybe get back into the game themselves. So for me, I think it was quite exciting. I think we played really well. I think we played positively. I think the system worked. I think everything that was meant to happen on Sunday all happened, and it happened really well. I can give many players credit. Antonio had a great game. Zuma and Dawson at the back were immense, absolute rocks. Souček getting further forward, etc. Declan being disciplined in the centre of midfield. Everything about Sunday worked well. But there's one player you've got to pick out, because for me, anything that Moyes asks him to do, he goes, "All right, boss, I'll do it." And that, of course, is Pablo Fornals. I mean, Fornals, he comes to West Ham United, kind of a midfielder, number 10-ish sort of player. David Moyes soon knocked that out of him and went, "Oh no, I want you to be a little bit more solid. Forget the flair, the Spanish flair crap. Become the solid midfielder that I want you to be." And Fornals became that. "I want you to play out right. Yep, no problem. I'll play out right. I want you to play in the middle. Yeah, I'll do that. I want you to play on the left side of midfield. Yeah, I'll do that." And then he says, "I want you to play left wing back." And how well did he do? How well did he do? It was such an excellent performance. Like I say, trying to pick one player out from the game on Sunday would be difficult. But for me, because of the discipline this man has, Pablo Fornals for me is he's just absolutely brilliant for me. You ask him to do a job. I bet even if you ask him to go into defence, he'll probably do it, and he'll do a good job of it. He's just that type of player, isn't he? And I think it's fantastic. I think it worked. Given what I said a moment ago, that we had players like Masuaku and Fredericks and Young Ashby and even Sufal, all out injured, who could kind of play the wing back role. Some of them better at it than others. All of them out. I kept convincing myself there's no way David Moyes is going to play three at the back with wing backs, because we haven't got the players for it. And Pablo Fornals did it. And he does it with a smile on his face. He does it with flair. He does it with he just gets 100% in it. And it was superb to see. Absolutely fantastic. I can't say much more else about that game. Like I said, Zuma and Dawson being rocks at the back. Antonio having his best game since November. Souček back to his scoring best. 4 now, Nick, if you're watching. 4 this season. Got plenty of time to get 10 like he did last season, if he's allowed to go further forward up front. But anyway, we won't carry on with that. Diop as well. Diop came on for the last few minutes, and he done a couple of crunching tackles. There was one where I thought, "Fucking hell, mate, you're not playing rugby." But he got stuck in it as well, and it was just absolutely great to see. And if that's going to re-kick start our season again, it's the right time to do it. FA Cup on Wednesday night, Europa League next week, got Liverpool at the weekend, etc. A great time to re-kickstart our season. Right, let's go into the chat before I get to the next part of the show. Thank you all for saying my audio is fine, much appreciated. Let's go. Marshall, respect to you as well. Thank you very much. Good evening, Mandy. How are you? Probably Anton. Yeah, he's probably sabotaging my show. There you go. Howard, Conte wants the manure job. He certainly doesn't want the Spurs job, does he? Mike, Borough a massive. Have they? What is it finished? I hope it has. I hope it has, and I hope they've won. Who else have we got in the chat? Steve, Borough fans will be well chuffed. I think we'll all be well chuffed. Goodbye, Spurs. Claret and Boots, it's not the mods. Only admins can do that. Mods, hoping there's no rockers in here. Stupid joke. I don't know. Well, I didn't touch anything, but let's move on. Cyber corner for Spurs. Is that the best they've done all night? Mike, Fredericks is decent in between defence and midfield. Fredericks is decent, and I feel sorry for him for continually being injured, because I know he didn't have a very good game against the first half of Newcastle, and he's out injured again. He keeps getting bloody injured. Reese, I only got brought into the battle, the Algerian spamming pre-season. I have no idea what you're talking about, but you crack on, mate. Hammerhead, Moyes didn't really make any changes, to be honest. He didn't impress me. He didn't impress me. The players did so. He didn't impress me. The players did so. Moyes, for me, still on thin ice and shows he can do more than one thing. Maybe he gets some more players on board. Well, let's hope he does get more players on board. But you've got to give him credit where credit's due, because I was getting frustrated with Moyes. And the fact that he did change it around, and he did change the formation. Am I the only one thinking that we played through at the back? I'm pretty sure I'm not. And am I the only one thinking that Fornals played wing back? He definitely did, and it worked. It worked. 3 minutes to go. If Frederick starts, we score 3. Well, good evening, Wally World. Real Nigel, 3-4-1-2. 3-4-1-2. Let's see. Close. I did a 3-4-3. But that could be a 3-4-1-2 with Socek sitting a little bit deeper and Antonio and Jared up front. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. More, I'm almost right. That'll do. John again, John as well. What are you colluding, you two? Nick, Conte would leave before then. He is 2 losses away from leaving. Let's hope he leaves tonight. Hey, good evening to you, Long Dark. How are you? You haven't missed much. I hope you're well. Fornals is my hammer of the year. I was saying Bowen is my hammers of the year for what he's done, but Fornals, such a fantastically versatile footballer, absolutely fantastic. Jonathan, bringing off the season where we fluid in our play. Then we got injuries, true, and leaking goals. We got more defensive, and last game is us going back to the beginning of the season again. Yeah, it's a restart, isn't it? So I think it's fantastic what happened at the weekend. I think it was great. Let's see who else we got. Dabs, it's the new white wristband Antonio wears. It's lucky, is it? I hope he wears it while he's sleeping as well and never takes it off. Lauren, Conte's pulling his I like that. Do you reckon he wears a rug? Does he? Do you think he wears a rug? I don't know. Hammer, Tom and get back. Is it finished? Borough win! Oh, let's hope we win tomorrow and we're not smiling on the other side of our faces. Adam, Middlesbrough 1-0. Spuds get bad everywhere they go. I think it's all over. It is now. Robert, good evening to you. Is draw tomorrow? It's not good enough. Someone's got to win tomorrow, Cyber. A draw's not good. We don't get a replay anymore. Steve, it's all gone Spursy. I might as well call it the Spursy show, mightn't I? Mark, Hoddle, Waddle, Villa, Perriman, Gascoigne, Kane. You took one out of Chris, Tottenham are trophyless once again. Oh dear. Mike, Fornals is one of our most creative players. The visions on some of his passes are insane. Absolutely agree with you with that. Yeah. Then WO, good evening to you, mate. Nails has had a bad few months. Fornals has had a bad few months. Best game for a while. I think you could say that for most of the players at the weekend, can't you? Let's get rid of that crap. Bear with me 1 second. There you go. Who else have we got? Lauren, you're absolutely right. We do have a massive 2 weeks coming up. We've got the FA Cup tomorrow night. We've got Liverpool at the weekend. We've got Seville in the first round. And then who do we have? And then it's Villa, I think it is. And then Seville, the second round of the Europa League. Modern Rockers dad joke level. It is, isn't it? It almost went over my head, and I'm the one that said it. What else we got? Claret and Booze, Hammerhead. It was a completely different formation. It was way different. I think it was way different. Definitely, I think it was. Let's scroll down. John Dawson, Hammer of the Year. Has won over the fan base. Well, I think he won me over at the end of the first season after I moaned for about 6 months. Why are we buying a player like that? Why are we getting a player like that in? And he's proved us all wrong. Good evening, George. Moyes has taken us as far as he can. He'll be no. As I said in last week's show and probably several shows before that, if David Moyes continues to take us into top 6 for the next 2 or 3 seasons, for me, I'll bite your hand off for it. So I don't have a problem with that at all. Hammerhead, who's Conte? I know him as Stick of the Dump. Nick, mate, he's changed it up and we look revitalised. He did well. He proved players didn't need dropping. They needed a different system. Good point. Good point. Yeah. Okay. Reese, Pancake FC, thick and get battered everywhere they go. That was almost funny. NWO. 5 days rest after Liverpool game before the Euros. That's going to be very important. After we beat Liverpool, we'll have 5 days rest, which is good. Cameron Booth, mate, seriously, you've watched me. I criticise when things are bad, but I give credit when it's due. We beat a very good team. I'd take the 3 points. Absolutely. Right. Let's go on to the next part of the show, shall we? Which is Got to look down. Oh yeah, fixture changes before I go on to the next part. There were a couple of fixture changes announced last week. The Everton game has been moved to the 3rd of April at 2 p.m. I think that's a Sunday. And the Man United game has been moved to the 9th of April, which is a Saturday afternoon kickoff. I hate Saturday afternoon kickoffs because it allows you to get really, 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 really hammered for the rest of the day, win, lose or draw. You know, you come out of the game and it's still only, it's daylight and it's like 2 o'clock. And you think, yeah, all right, we'll go for a drink, 1 drink, 2 drinks. All right, we'll have a curry. And then you get home at 10 and explain to the missus where you've been all day. Anyway, two fixture changes. There you go. 3rd of April at 2 o'clock and the 9th of April at 12:30. So there you go. Right. Next up is Player Watch, I think. So let's go down to that. Wasn't Player Watch, it was Academy and Women's Watch. It was. So there you go. Right, at the weekend, the women's team were back in action after a few weeks of, I think it was women's international duties. The women's team were back in action last Sunday. More or less at the same time as we were playing Wolves, and they were playing Reading in the. I'm going to get this wrong. They were playing Reading in the Vitality Women's FA Cup. So they got knocked out a few weeks ago in the League Cup, and this was the Vitality Women's FA Cup. Now, if anyone can pronounce that name, you're a better person than I am. So I'm going to call her Dagny. Dagny Bridjansdottir. Scored the winning goal for West Ham United in extra time against Reading on Sunday. Now, West Ham United, they reached the final of this competition in their first professional season back in 2018-19 when they lost to Man City at Wembley. So this is the first time in this competition that they've now reached the latter stages of the tournament. The draw of the finals took place this morning. Sorry, not the finals. The draw of the quarter-final took place this morning. And the other teams that they could have faced were comprised from the FA Super League and from the FA Championship, and one team from the National League South. They drew Ipswich in the next round, which is fantastic. So the women's team, fantastic, well done to them. And they will be facing. I'm looking at my details about something, and I don't know what I've written here because it certainly isn't about. Oh yes, I know what it's about. They get Ipswich in the next round of the tie, so good luck to them. I don't remember what day it's going to be, but I know it's coming up in a few weeks' time. Now, the women's team next face Chelsea for the 3rd time this season in the Women's Premier League. Now, the last 2 games against Chelsea, they lost. They lost to them in 4-2 in the League Cup. That's who knocked them out of the League Cup. And in the league, they lost to them 2-0. So 3rd time lucky, ladies. So hopefully, when we face them this week on the 10th of March, hopefully we get a win out of them. Right, the under-23s were due to play at the weekend, but on inspection of the ground again at Blackburn, it was inspected. It was waterlogged, so that game was postponed, which was a shame for them because it would have been a great opportunity to get out of a slight losing streak in the Premier League too. So when that game is rescheduled, we'll let you know. However, the under-18s were in action at the weekend, and boy, oh boy, were they in action. They are absolutely flying at the moment. On Saturday, they hosted West Bromwich Albion in the under-18s Premier League and smashed them 6-0. Look, they've had a number of memorable wins throughout this season. Back in October, they beat Aston Villa 5-0, away to Burnley 3-0 in November, 5-2 away to West Brom when they first met in the league back in January. So that means they banged in 11 goals against them in 2 games. Earlier this month, they had a 5-0 home win against Birmingham, and now this result against West Brom at the weekend. Now, that win takes them 4 wins and a draw in their last 5 games, with their best goal difference of plus 27 in the under-18s Premier League. This young man, Gideon Kadua's hat-trick, all got them all in the first half. And in fact, we were 5-0 up by half time. The Hammers' sensational 6-goal showing continued a brilliant run of 12 under-18 Premier League games without defeat for them, dating back to September of 2021. And it's ensured that Kevin Keane's team is now is in second place with only a point of leaders Southampton. Kadua's treble took the headlines, but there were other notable performances. Michael Forbes, Divin Mbama, Callum Marshall, they all found the net as well. It's just fantastic, and that was also 3 clean sheets in a row for the under-18s. To continue in this form, I get really excited about the academy, the under-23s, etc. I think we've got some absolutely dynamite players that are coming through, and it would be fantastic to start seeing some of them sort of start knocking on the door. We've seen the under-23s start knocking on the Premier, the senior squad door, and hopefully, maybe one day Moyes might put a bit more faith in them and play them in a game that's important rather than the game where it's kind of meaningless. Although that was good experience when they played against Dinamo Zagreb a few months ago. Kevin Keane talked about Kadua and said, I'm so pleased for him. He's worked so hard all season. He's been in and out of this team, but as a lad, he's been first class. He works hard every day and he's getting better and better. So I'm extremely happy for him and it's a thoroughly deserved. So well done to you. I think it's fantastic. Then their next game, the under-18s, is on Saturday away to Reading, and we wish them well, because their aim this season was to finish around 6 in the league. The fact that they're second and only 1 point off the leaders is absolutely superb. So well done to them. Let's go back into the chat and see who else is commenting. Mandy, they played great. Hammerhead, one shot in target the whole game for Wolves. That's a bad game. It is, but then we held them off, and you can't say that, Nigel. Because we actually have some viewers here who asked me to put on to talk about the women's league, and that's exactly what I'm doing. You just got to embrace it, Nigel. Embrace it. 8 Barley, Man United game rearranged. Yes, it has been said that. It's now in the morning of or lunchtime kickoff. We played them already twice in the league, and well, have I got that wrong? Someone else has said that too. We have played Manure twice in the league, so I've got that wrong. My apologies. I have got that wrong because I was at both. I was at both games. How could I have got that wrong? So who have we got then on the 9th at 12:30? Someone else can tell me. My apologies. You're absolutely right. Look, I've gone red-faced. Mike, Women's Watch, I'm glad I made it to tonight's show. Don't you start. It's bad enough with Nigel. Father Snowman, did he say? I did, and I got it wrong. So my apologies. I read something. Who have we got on the 9th of April? It ain't Man U then. It definitely isn't, because I remember both games now. I apologise for that. There you go. That's why I'm not in the know. Nigel, they don't even play in West Ham. Dagenham ladies, just support them. They wear the West Ham shirt. Jonathan, she must be on double figures. I'm sure she scored most of our goals. She's quite a good goal scorer. There you go. 9th is Brentford away, apparently. So I forget what I said. Certainly about Everton, it's all right. I'll tell you what, when I find out exactly who, I'll correct myself. But thank you for correcting me. Here we go. Daniela, 9th of April is Brentford. So maybe that's the lunchtime game that we're playing. How weird is that? I'm not even pissed. I'm drinking this crap. So there you go. My apologies for that. Let's get rid of that one as well. Bear with me 1 second. Mike, why does Moyes not take any chances on our youngsters? Arteta pretty much plays the whole under-23 teams and they look decent. I don't know. It's the Moyes way. But, he likes bringing youngsters through. That's absolutely for certain. But he just, there have been opportunities this season where he could have used 1 or 2 youngsters, but he hasn't done so. I think Occo Flex and Antonio would be a great partnership. Good shout. Occo Flex, he's a decent player. George, we should rest players against Liverpool as it's away at Anfield and we need to focus on the Europa League. Do you think he'll do that? I just don't think he will, to be quite honest with you. Peter, we should have given some more minutes to the youngsters this year to help our small squad. I totally agree. that's what I think. John, a little bit. What can I say? Ashley, well done to the girls. Absolutely agreed. That's the way. That's the spirit. NWO. It's true. Women's football. Come on. It's for everyone. Everyone want. I've been asked, so I've done it. Yeah, I know. I've watched videos when Lehman played. Is that the ladies' team? Yeah. Bob, I know it's Brentford. I don't know how I got that so wrong. Stuart, Sevilla may not have been the best draw, but we could have still finished fourth and win Europa League. Exactly. Exactly. There you go. Right. I'm gonna now in my embarrassment, I might as well go to the next part of the show, which is all about player watch. Right. So before I carry on, I've got a little bit of news to tell you. This will be the last West Ham Weekly on this channel. I've decided I'm going to move on. I will be moving on to. I've been thinking about doing my own channel for quite some time, and so if you go into YouTube and you look up at look for West Ham Voice, you'll be able to find me there. I'll still be doing the weekly show, absolutely, as I normally do. But it will be the last time I'll be doing it on this channel. So please subscribe to this channel. It's a bit of a long one. So if you just look up the West Ham Voice on YouTube, you'll be able to find me there. And I'll be able to continue doing the West Ham Weekly on that channel. So let's move on to the next part of the show. And it's all about Player Watch. And first up is the whole thing about Ben Johnson and his contract. A little bit strange, a little bit odd. We were negotiating with Ben Johnson about extending his contract, and there was talk about putting an extended contract of 6.5 years. But he's turned that down. And what West Ham have done, and it must be in agreement with the player himself, is that the automatic extension of 2 years has been activated. So Ben Johnson is now contracted until 2024. Now, that automatic extension does make you ask some questions about, what's going on in the background. Now, same thing happened with Declan Rice a few years ago. Declan Rice was offered a contract. He signed that. There's an option of extending that as well. So it's all about what really happens or what's happening in the background. Now, if we look at the Declan Rice contract and sort of understand how that worked, with Declan Rice, there was a contract offer made, a salary increase offered, and then that would go up incrementally on year-by-year basis. And then there'll be things like bonuses on top of that, etc. And I would guess that Ben Johnson has been offered much the same sort of thing. Now, Johnson's current salary is about 20 grand a week. So I'm speculating here. I haven't got the exact figures. I'm speculating. And 20 grand, if he's currently on 20 grand a week at the moment, I would imagine that he may have been offered something like 30, 35 grand a week, which will go up incrementally over the next 6.5 years. And there'll be bonuses on top of that, etc. Now, maybe Johnson and his agents are thinking, well, 30, 35 grand a week, if it is that, is just not enough. Maybe they're thinking that their player is worth much more and maybe they want 40 or 45 or 50 grand a week or something like that. A bit more in line with some of the other senior players in the squad. Now, look, a few years ago, it wasn't that long ago when we lost another promising right back, Jeremy Ngakia, when he allowed his contract to run down and he left to join Watford on a free. But because of his age at that time, we did eventually get some compensation for him, although it wasn't a great amount of money. But we've got Harrison Ashby ready and waiting in the sidelines. And I'm beginning to sort of speculate and wonder, maybe West Ham are only offering Johnson a smaller amount of money because they know they've got the likes of Harrison Ashby, who's another very well thought of right back. I don't know. we have a conveyor belt of right backs over the years. Glenn Johnson, several years back, when we sold him to Chelsea when we went down. Ben Johnson and Gakia, Harrison Ashby coming through. We seem to have a really good conveyor belt of young right backs, and I would like to see an agreement made with Johnson. It's great that we've extended it. At least we've still got him for the next 2 years, because what that means is we can now just focus on making sure that we try and get the best deal, get him to sign the best deal over the next 6 months, 1 year or so. It was a bit worrying, the fact that his contract was going to run out at the end of this season. If he allowed that to run down, that would have been yet another right back that we would have lost. So hopefully it can be sorted out. Right, a player that isn't going to be leaving is a Diop. There's an awful lot of talk about Diop possibly being sold, but the rumor is in the club that Issa Diop is very highly thought of. West Ham United, or David Moyes, still thinks that he can offer a hell of a lot more than he has done. He still sees a great deal of potential in him, and David Moyes wants to keep the player. So all this talk about selling him to Newcastle and all that sort of stuff seemed to be a little bit premature. And I think everyone was speculating, well, he'll definitely go in the summer, but it looks like David Moyes wants to keep him. Another player, Michail Antonio, is being urged not to go on international duty at the end of March with Jamaica. Jamaica face El Salvador, Canada, and Honduras in the World Cup qualifiers between the 25th to the 30th of March. But unfortunately, Jamaica mathematically cannot qualify for this year's competition. So West Ham are trying to get the player not to sign up and go. Like I said it before, every player has an absolute right to play international football. There's absolutely no doubt in that at all. But if they're meaningless games, why make him fly out? It's going to be, it's going to become the business end. Well, we're already in the business end of our season. So we want to keep him fresh, even though that's an international break. There aren't games around it. We want to keep him fresh for the games coming up at the start of April. Some injury news. Soufal, it feels like ages ago now, doesn't it? But Vladimir Soufal's operation on his groin injury last week was a success. But he's going to be unavailable for at least another 4 or 5 weeks or so while he recuperates. It's another blow because, our squad is already depleted. We've now got 4 players who are out injured. Fredericks, Ogbonna on long-term injury. Soufal, there's another one whose name escapes me. But it's just, and Masuaku, of course. And it's just a concern. We can see now why maybe he wasn't playing to the sort of capacity that we expected him to. I've just mentioned him, Ryan Fredericks. He's out again. He's got another slight groin injury, but it's believed that he should be back in time for the Liverpool game, which will be good in terms of having strength in depth. And I've just mentioned it, Arthur Masuaku. I mentioned him last week as well, but Arthur Masuaku is apparently going to be out for the rest of the season. That's the theory. It looks like he may need another knee surgery in order to get rid of the floating bone in the knee. We can ill afford having so many players out injured when the squad is so low in numbers already. But one bit of good news is Ogbonna O'Grass is going to be grass training next month, apparently. He's already in the gym doing upper body strength in the gym, and there's a rumour that he could be out training on grass at the beginning of next month, which would be fantastic. And now everyone, of course, is speculating, well, of course, that means he's going to be back before the end of the season. I think that's a speculation too far. I can't see that happening, but certainly good news if Ogbonna is back sooner rather than later. Right, what about some loan news? Well, first of all, Mipo Odebeko. Look, I'm really pleased for him. He's the one on the right, by the way. I'm really pleased for him because players went out on loan at the beginning of the season and were hardly getting a look in the teams that they were on loan to. Odebeko was loaned out at the beginning of the season to Huddersfield, and he got a bit of game time here and there. Whereas for Doncaster, he's really making a bit of a name for himself, and he notched up his first assist for Doncaster during the week last week when they played Accrington Stanley and they beat them 2-0. Some clever movement on the edge of the box from the 19-year-old presented him a chance for a shot. But when his effort ricocheted off the defender and then his own body, it fell right into the path of Josh Martin, whose deflected shot hit the back of the net. Sounds like a game of what do you call it? Yeah, that game. As a result, it was their second win in 3 games for Odebeko, and Doncaster, they moved up to 22nd in the league in League One. Just 2 points behind Morecambe outside the relegation zone. And the next trip was to AFC Wimbledon at the weekend, where Odebeko again had a pretty good game. And he came on again as a half-time substitute, and this time he helped Doncaster pull back to a 2-2 draw against Wimbledon, who are also struggling with relegation. So well played to him, and I'm glad that the season's kind of turned for him. We need some players out on loan to really show what they're capable of doing. And next up is Connor Coventry. Deep-lying playmaker Connor Coventry was once again at the heart of an impressive victory for Liam Manning's NK Dons side, who saw off Charlton Athletic 2-0 at the Valley, and that kept him third in the table and to keep pressure on contention for automatic promotion. He made his 8th consecutive start since joining the Dons in January, and picked up his 5th win from those fixtures, playing a key role in the opening goal. The moment of real quality for Coventry, he forced a 41st minute opening as the Republic of Ireland captain produced a deft outside of the boot pass to Tene Watson, who duly slotted in the goal. It was his 9th start in overall, and that was the 6th win that he was involved in. And the latest was a 2-0 win at the weekend over Bolton Wanderers. This moved the MK Dons to level on points with second place Wigan Athletic in the automatic promotion spot. However, Wigan do have 3 games in hand. Connor Coventry picked up the man of the match against Wigan at the weekend, and he was later described by an MK Dons fan as the Irish Xavi by one enthusiastic fan. Great to see 2 players on loan who are doing the business, because when it comes to the end of the season and David Moyes has got to start replacing players who are, out of contract and aging, etc. We need players. We know we need a central midfielder in order to compete with the lot, or back up at least Declan Rice and Thomas Soucek. We know that Mark Noble is going to retire. Alex Kral quite hasn't happened for him. So we need something, don't we? We need something a little bit different there for us. And it's if Connor Coventry can continue demonstrating his, how good he can be in that position, that'll be great for us. Odebeko, he's a striker. He's an attacking player. He got a little bit of opportunity last season, but it just didn't happen for him. I don't think Moyes used him in the correct way last season, but maybe he comes back from this loan spell with Doncaster, and maybe he can do something, even if it is from the subs bench for West Ham next season, which would be fantastic. Other players who are out on loan, Joseph Anang suffered back-to-back defeats with prospective title challengers St Patrick's Athletic, falling 2-1 at home to Sligo Rovers and 1-0 away to the Bohemians on Friday and Monday, respectively. Despite that, he produced some really good, impressive moments, some really good saves, and he's sure he's sure going to be up to the task against Shamrock Rovers on Friday. I think he's actually a pretty decent player. If you watch some of the saves he makes, for a 21-year-old, I think he's very, very decent indeed. And I'd like to see someone like him coming back, maybe going out on loan again next season, proving himself maybe in the Championship rather than, Irish League. But I'd like to see him maybe in the Championship, playing for a team, making a name for himself and coming back and maybe making a demand for one of those 2 goalie places, or even third choice goalie behind our first 2. That'd be great. Right, let's go into the chat again before I move on. Let's scroll down and see who we've got. John, Jimmy Savile, like youngsters, didn't win anything. John, that's terrible, mate. And you're having a go at Nigel for talking about women's football. Adam, women's team, Lucky Reading had most of the game and chances, but that's football. I didn't know. I didn't watch it. I only read the summary, but we won. Peter, are the Dagenham girl pipers still going to use the... I've got no idea. James, I've got a great idea. Let's put the lunatics in charge of the asylum and sack Moyes. What could possibly go wrong? Well, we've had a few loons managing us in the past, haven't we? Let's scroll down. Mark, Ashby and commentary, only one that can step up next. Only ones that can step up next season. I don't know. I think possibly Ashby, absolutely. Coventry, very good chance. I do think Odebecko's a good, decent player. I also do think that Okoflex is also a pretty good player as well. James, now I'm boxing up my thighs, my things in the office. Are you leaving? You going? What's happening, mate? Peter, I know still you're such a pro. That is what David. Thank you very much. Well, you can still follow me on the other channel as well. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. That's I'm grateful for that. Long dart, right? That's it. I'm off. Don't go just yet. NWO, don't go. We fear change. Don't fear change. Just follow me on. Where is it? If I can bring up, just go. Just look for West Ham Voice on YouTube, and you can follow me on there. And I promise you, I'll do the same sort of shows as I'm doing on this one. Mike, remember when Ashby played once and got all up in someone's face? Yeah, that was earlier this season. Looked like it was going to knock them out. That's proper West Ham. Dabs. Still, will you talk about how well just done it? Just done it. John, thank you very much, mate. Long Dark, see you on the... Thank you very much. Thank you, much appreciated. Devon and Dave, do you think the club will feel obligated to purchase Kral to avoid him having to return to Russia? What a good question. You know, didn't cross my mind. Probably not. Probably not. But I wonder how many players will want to stop playing for Russian teams? How many players will want to stop playing for teams that are financed by Russian money, etc.? Steve, Longello looked good against... He did look good. And since then, I think he's out injured because we haven't seen or heard from him since. Thank you, Hammerette. Much appreciated for that. Black Country, sorry here. Well, you can continue following me. Just subscribe to the new channel, so you'd be more than welcome to come over with me. Thank you very much, everyone, for the good comments. Still, is my uncle somewhere down my bloodline, Mike? If I was, I'd ask you to get your hair cut. There you go. But mind you, I had hair much longer than yours when I was a kid. So you crack on. Vinay, good luck. Still got a feeling you want to go solo for a while. It's one of those things. It's one of those things. But do sign up for the other channel, please. That'd be much appreciated. Lauren, has Johnson been nobled or holding out for a bigger contract? Well, I hope I explained it. I think possibly, because the strategy, from what I understand in the past, the way West Ham do things is they will offer a young player, we'll offer you a long contract. We're going to give you this much money. Then next year you'll get a bit more. Next year a bit more bonuses, etc. And I just wonder if maybe Johnson and his agents think that maybe they've started a bit too low. Like I said, my understanding is that Johnson's on around 20 grand a week at the moment. So I would guess, I'm only guessing, I don't know, I'm not an ITK. So I would guess because of that, maybe they've offered him something like 35 grand, as a starting salary with bonuses. That might lead it up to 50 grand a week, something like that. And then the following year, a bit more and a bit more. I'm guessing. And maybe Johnson thinks, well, I need to start on 50 grand a week. I don't know. DA, will you sign up, Arthur, for your new channel? You never know. Join me, and you might find out for yourself. Steve, I just thank you very much. Really appreciated. The Masuaku and Still Show. Can you imagine that? Long Dark. We're coming. Can't let you forget the free. I'll try and find it and load it on for you. Maybe I'll have it as a theme. Ashley, thanks for the link. Thank you, Ashley, for signing up. Ryan, what player signs a 6.5 deal these days? Agents won't allow. That's another good point. I didn't think of that. Maybe they don't want a contract to be that long. Maybe they only want it to be maybe 3 years or 4 years or something like that. Yeah, good point. Really good point. Peter, will there be a minute silence? Mike, didn't PSG want to buy? Don't read, like I always say, don't believe everything you hear and read. Because hardly any of it's true. Andrew, Ben is not going anywhere now because we've initiated the two-year extension. Peter, Diop could be switched to a defensive midfield. A lot of people say that. Lauren, don't be late for you. Well, don't be silly. Of course I'm going to be late. Mark, Johnson will sign in the summer, no problem. I'm hoping so. Mike, new channel's called West Ham Voice. So just go onto YouTube and look for West Ham Voice, or I think Cameron put the link up earlier on. Trudge, believe that as much as you believe his post-match interviews by Moyes. What? I'm so far behind. I don't know what you're referring to. There you go, West Ham Voice. Much appreciated. Victor. Connor commentary with Mark knows. Well, this is what a lot of people are speculating. A lot of people are speculating that he will be, and why not? I've been bigging up commentary. I think now for the last 2 seasons, always saying I think he's going to break through. I think he's going to break through. Maybe finally, next season might be the season for him. Peter, Jamaica, no, she went off her own accord. Jamaica, no, she went off her own accord. That's a joke, isn't it? I'm sure it's a joke. John, should we name a stand after Noble when he retires? In all honesty, I'm going to be really controversial and say no. No, we shouldn't. There you go. I'd much rather name the stand after, I don't know, we've done Billy Bonds. Who could we name it? I think there's one or two a little bit more worthy. Oh, you're going to hate me for even saying that. Steve, all the best. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Peter, again, Ashby has been sent off about 3 times with under 23s this season. I didn't know that. Mike, the ops assist to Bowen against Leicester was incredible. Wasn't it just? Fantastic. Sean, evening again, and good luck. Thank you, Sean. Much appreciated. And I always smile. I always try and smile. Well, mostly. Thank you for that, Reese. Mike, I want it back next month. Oh my God. Calm your pants. Oh, I didn't say that. There's talk about him possibly being back in training next month on grass. Not smoking it. Right, with that long hair, you never know. But there's talk about him maybe being back in training on grass. Whether he comes back at the end of the season to play any actual competitive football, I don't know. Sean, Masuaku injured, advantage West Ham. You know what I think about Masuaku. Adam, why should Antonio go on international duty with Jamaica, who can't qualify, waste time? Exactly that. Exactly what I think as well. West Ham are trying to persuade him not to go, but it's his, if he wants to, he can't be stopped. Mike, if a Bonner is back next month, what does our defence look like? Calm your pants. I didn't say he was going to be back next month. Stuart, Oggy, I'll get him back. Best defender we have. Eastside View, who told you Kretinsky is going bust? Hang on a minute. Let's just do that because I know who that is. Reese, West Ham Voice, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Mike, Creswell left. You're getting carried away, mate. You're getting carried away. John, is your new show going to be called The Late and Later? Quite possibly. Trodge, commentary is going to make it. Get in there, son. I hope so. Huge. Thank you, mate. Much appreciated. John, again, another ex-West Ham midfielder is now MK with commentary. Dan Kemp via Orient. Good shout. Good shout. Adam, Oggy reads the game so well, will be good backup, and he's been a good player for us. He absolutely has. Mark, commentary, I'm liking his progress, could become an important player for us. Bear me 1 second, people. I won't be a minute. That's okay. Just had to check something. Trodge, always like Dan Kemp, got stuck in for a small guy. I can't remember him much, to be honest with you. So I would take your word for it. John, the Irish Zavvi, a bit like the Czech Pirlo. You're talking about Souček, of course, none other than Thomas Souček. I just want to see youth players being used, but when is ever going to be the right time? There have been a few opportunities, but, he might have no choice. Peter, was Afolayan out of contract last summer, as he would have been better to keep for another year? He was out of contract, and I think he's playing for Bolton now. Mike, I heard Stell made Souček a potato salad souvlaki after the game winning the goal the other day. Andrew, Flex and Ashby look like ones who are closest making the next step. I agree. And Coventry as well, I would say. Right, let's move on to the final part of the show. Shall I play that to you again? Look, I don't want to scare you or anything, but 6-time Europa League winners when it was the UEFA Cup and then the UEFA Europa League. Only 6 times. They have won it more times than any other team. 6 times. Well, let's not beat around the bush. Seville are a cracking team. They are an absolutely fantastic team, and it's going to be a game and a half, I tell you. Founded in 1890, Seville currently hold the record for winning the Europa League 6 times. They play at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium, which was named after their former president and ran the club for 17 years. Their first taste of success was back in 1939-1940 season when they won the Copa del Rey for the first time, which was then followed up with their first La Liga title in 1945-1946. I think that was the only La Liga title that they won. They play, as I said, in the Ramon Sanchez Stadium, capacity of just under 43,000. It's located just off the city centre. Getting there, well, you don't, main railway and then a short walk. Hotels, if anyone's going, so many to choose from. If anyone has ever been to Seville, it's a beautiful city, absolutely gorgeous city. The fans, the Biris Norte, is an organized group of ultra supporters located in the north grandstand of the stadium. The group's name comes from the Gambian player Al Haji Momodo Njele, nicknamed Biri Biri, who became very popular amongst the Seville fans in the 1970s. The Biris Norte was created in the 1974-75 season as one of the oldest groups of ultra fans in Spain. I said they won the Europa League 6 times. The first time, I can't remember this. 2006 against Middlesbrough when they beat them 4-0. Then the following season, they won it again against Espanyol, 2-2 on full time, and then it was a 3-1 penalty shootout. They won it again against Benfica in 2014, 0-0, then a 4-2 penalty shootout. In 2015, they beat Ukrainian side, FC Dnipro, 3-2. Then the following year, they beat Liverpool 3-1 whilst when they were 1-0 down. And then in 2020, they beat Inter Milan 3-2. Great record. And they beat some great teams as well. Look, La Liga winners 1 time, Segunda Liga winners 4 times, Copa del Rey winners 5 times, Europa League winners 6 times, UEFA Super Cup winners 1 time. Head-to-head with West Ham, never played them. The form in the last 6 games between both teams is equal. 1-3, drawn 2, lost 1. So all to play for, really. Look, and they've gone through some bad times as well as good times. In the 1970s, in the early 2000s. In the 1970s, they were in financial debt and they had to sell a number of their top players to teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid, etc. And they slid down to Segunda Liga. That's happened to us over the years as well. They in the 2000s, the club started to become more stable, and in the 2003-04 season, they finished 6th, resulting in them qualifying for the UEFA Cup, which is now the Europa League. As I've said, they've won this competition 6 times, and the first time against Middlesbrough, when they beat them 4-0, one person called Freddie Canute scored one of their goals. I'm sure you all remember him. And they just went on and on, and it's been fantastic. And then under Unai Emery, the club went on to more success, winning the Europa League again by beating Benfica, as I said. And they just went from strength to strength, and they've been qualifying for Champions League football. And you know what? I look at them and I think, that's where I want West Ham to be. You look at their blueprint and think of how they've sort of progressed over the years. They just got stronger and stronger, always finishing in the top half of the or top half in the top four, top three, etc. That's the sort of blueprint for where I want West Ham United to be. They've got some great players in defence. I wonder if you remember this name, Gonzalo Montiel. We were linked to him for God knows how long. From River Plate, he's their right back, and he's scored 1 goal and assisted in 3 this season. Other defenders to look out for is Ludwig Augustinsson and Diego Silva. In midfield, Ivan Rakitic. Another name familiar to us. Then there's he's scored 6 goals and assisted in 4 this season. And then there's strikers. Player that David Moyes likes, Youssef and Naziri. We know David Moyes is a fan because he wanted to spend £40 million on him, apparently. There's Anthony Martial, who they've got on loan from Man United, and we know how lethal he can be. Add left winger Lucas Ocampos, who has 8 goals and 4 assists this season. Plus, there's also Eric Lamela, who they signed from Spurs, who's got 4 goals and 2 assists. And then we go on to Rafa Mir, who was signed from Wolves, who's got 11 goals this season. Plus, finally, Papu Gomez, who's like a second striker, who's got 5 goals and 2 assists. They've got a lot of firepower. They really, really have got a lot of firepower. We're still waiting on West Ham United and Seville to announce tickets for the game. The first game, as we know, is on the 10th of March next week. Fantastic looking stadium. There's speculation that West Ham will get something like 27 to 30,000 tickets, but we're waiting for confirmation on that. And then the return leg on the 17th of March. If you haven't bought your ticket yet, you should have done so. Because this is one of the games of the next round, and it's going to be superb. If we can hang in there, hang in there. That's horrible. If we can hold our own against them away on the 10th of March, then imagine what the return leg is going to be like. It's going to be a momentous night, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be hard, but then you've got to beat the hard teams in order to win competitions like this. Right, let's finish off with your comments before I go for the evening. Let's scroll down. Who else have we got here? Good evening to you, Epic. I've heard that foreign players in Russia can terminate their contracts. That would be good. I think that would be a nice thing for them to be able to do if they're unhappy for playing for a Russian team. Lauren, I had a quick look, Howard. It made my night. What did you have a look at? What did Howard say? It's up there somewhere. I can't see it, so do forgive me. Epic, because the Russian FA was kicked out. I didn't know that, so that's thank you for that. Mike, some of the streaming websites which I do not watch, please get off my back, have chats, and the Spurs fans were in bits. Let them be in bits. We don't care. Good evening to you, Danny. We're all going on a European tour. Some of us definitely are. Jonathan, well, still, now you have your own thing. If you fancy doing a podcast together, we'll be up for it. Subscribe. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for the offer. Aaron, rumours Conte will walk tonight. Farewell. Who else we got? Dabs, I play Ashby over Fredericks if need be. He's injured at the moment, so unfortunately no one can play him at the moment. Epic. So what happened? Why are you changing? It's just one of those things that I just want to do for myself. And if you want to join, I'd love you to continue watching me, mate. Daniela, thank you very much for subscribing to the new channel. Steve Songfestill, I did it my way. Howard, strong tomorrow, long dark, weak against the bin dippers, strong against Seville. I want us to be strong for every game, to be honest with you. Peter, Johnson is a better defender and can fill in other positions. He absolutely can. Well, he's proven that he can play left back as well as right back, which is good. James, safe journey travelling down tomorrow for the Hammers. Absolutely. I'm going down there. I'm going to meet my old mate Dave, who lives down in Southampton. Got a ticket for him as well, so it'd be good to see him. And then, unfortunately, I'm sharing a hotel room with David Wigram. And if anyone knows who Wiggy is, you'll have to feel very sorry for me. 22 degrees in Seville. Can't wait. Trudge, we are crap when we rest players anyways. It's too random to work out. Well, apparently players say that they'd rather play than train. So maybe the momentum of having to play a game every 3 days or so will be the thing that they need. Long Dark, Alan, I did think of that. Devonshire, name a stand after Devonshire. Stuart, just thank you very much for doing so. Name a stand after Masuaku. No, that one I don't agree with. Mark Di Canio stand, great player, but no, 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 no. John Larstan, I'd take that one. To be quite honest with you, I would. Huge. We can name a stand after someone who's never won any. We can't name a stand after someone who's so then it should be the John Larstan. He won us the FA Cup twice. Hammerette, can we just take a moment to have a think about how the Spuds feel tonight? No. Mike, the Craig Dawson stand. Peter, who thinks there should be a trust me, they'd be throwing eggs at it. Good evening to you, Scott. How are you? I'm moving on. Mike, my hair is getting Good evening, Scott. I hope you're well, by the way. My hair is getting roasted. That's such an old pick. It's short now. Yeah, don't give me that rubbish. Dog Dart, the John Charles stand. Interesting one. Interesting. Garino, just seen the Spurs result as Conte resigned. Yet we're speculating he'll walk by the end of the night. Stuart, the reason why I get you, Stel, is because your opinion. No, it's not. No, my opinion is not right. It's not always right, and I'm always open to be told otherwise. I never suggest that I know it. I don't. In fact, I know nothing. If I don't read about it, I know even less. So no, but thank you, Lauren. The Marco Buga stand. Basically, it's a caravan. Peter, it's Ogbonna. If Ogbonna came back next month, then Dawson play up top with Antonio. He ain't coming back now. I wish I hadn't said it now. I said he may be back training on grass next month. That's a long way off from being back to playing. Hammerette, I love this show. So glad you'll be doing it just on a different channel. Thank you very much, Hammerette. Much appreciated. Long Dart, I thought Stella had a stroke then. What did I do? Paul, what result will we get in Sevilla? I think, oh God, the trouble. I think we're going to get a 1-0 away win. I'm being silly, aren't I? Steve, Stel's oligarchy money in Cyprus has been frozen. Oligarch's money in Cyprus has been frozen. Links with Russians has compromised the channel. He had to go. Well, do you know what? The Cypriot economy is actually very much reliant on the Russian money. It actually really is. It's not good to say, but it's fact. Still not another West Ham channel to watch. Can't keep up. Just watch mine. Nothing more, mate. Hammerette, Paul, we have to win. Even if we lose 1-0 there, 3-1 here or something like that. Agreed. Peter, cue the last bit of the show. Will there be a Stelios montage to end the show? There absolutely won't. Mike, we can take on Sevilla any day because we have Craig Dawson. There you go. Thank God. There you go. Out with a bang, ish. Don't kick. I never have, never will, never have done. The missus will kick me where it will really hurt. Hammerette will make it even better, knocking them out, won't it? Oh well, it would make it even better. Absolutely. Mandy, wow, that stadium must feel like walking out into the Colosseum for our players. It looks beautiful. It looks like a fantastic stadium. And the outside of it, have I still got a picture of it? The outside of the stadium, that changes colour. So, that can change any colour they want it to change to. It looks like a fantastic stadium. It really does. James, at least we will get to play out in Seville to suss the gaff out before the final. Exactly. Sean, how many Betway Cups do they have? Exactly, Sean. Exactly. I bet they can't match us for that. Mark, Dawson and Naziri back pocket. Vinay, piss wound stadium full of beer. Ryan, don't care about 6 times. They're about to find out how massive we are. Garino, if we can beat Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Spurs, all right, I won't include them. I'm sure we can sail past Sevilla, but we'll have to be street smart. Absolutely agree. Mandy, we need a draw there. Can't see them not scoring at our place. Even though I'm saying 1-0 over there, they'll probably score in both rounds. We do have big game players, Rice, Socek, Dawson, Zuma, Bowen, Antonio. There you go. We love walking out in that arena. You know what? I think they probably will. I don't think they'll freeze. Chris, have I missed it? I'm just got in from work. I'm sorry, mate. You missed a whole lot. How would the Dutch McLaren? Who's the Dutch McLaren? Paul. Great news, Spurs out of the cup. Hit me, hooray! We got to do the business as well. Garino. From the BBC, Tottenham hope Antonio Conte is the manager to end their 14-year wait for a trophy, but hold my beer. Who else have we got before I go and say goodbye? Garino again. Heard some Ukrainian clubs help their Brazilian players to get out of the country. That's fantastic of them, to be honest with you. Has the chat jumped? It's jumped down. It's gone right down because people know I'm going. Garino again. Can we name Rosette after Mikel Antonio? Would have to be behind one of those goals though. Adam, I just subscribed. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I'm going to call. That's it. That's it. Thank you, people. Much appreciated. Oh, Chris, I'm from Limassol. We have loads of Russians. There are loads of Russians in Cyprus, aren't there, mate? Absolutely. That's it, people. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting me all these years. You know, like I said, if you want to carry on watching the West Ham Weekly, you can do. Just look for West Ham Voice on YouTube, and you'll find me there. If you subscribe, then you can carry on watching the show. There won't be, it won't be the same format, so I won't be able to do as many shows as West Ham Network does. They'll continue to do the great stuff that they do with all the different shows, etc. But it's time for me to move on. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you for all your support, and we'll see you on the other side.